Welcome to the All Around Joe podcast, where we optimize your human performance from my personal experience as an athlete, coach, and all-around self-improvement junkie. On this edition of the All Around Joe podcast, I am talking with sleep and recovery expert Sam Smith from Recovr Mattress. Sam has been in the furniture and mattress industry for probably longer than a lot of us have been alive, and he is a wealth of knowledge, whether it has to do with mattresses or just how to sleep and recover better. When listening to him in this podcast, am consistently, or have been, or was consistently blown away with the amount of information that he shared about stuff that I didn't even know. So I highly recommend that you listen to this whole podcast all the way through to get all of these sleep tips, because as Sam says, sleep is so important, not only in how you think, but how you feel, your weight loss, all of that stuff, and I completely agree. But before we hop into this podcast, I just want to let you know this podcast is brought to you by Inside Tracker. As we're on the theme of getting better and recovering more, it is so essential that we optimize everything that we are doing in order to be and feel our best. At Inside Tracker, they have shown me how to optimize my body in ways that I didn't even know was possible, because I thought I was doing everything right, and then I found out that I wasn't, just by doing a simple blood test with Inside Tracker. And you can do the same. It only takes a few minutes, and they give you a full readout of what you should be eating, your activity levels, what you should be avoiding, which is one of the big things for me, what I found out that I didn't realize I was doing. So if you would like to get hooked up with a discount for Inside Tracker, all you got to do is use the code AllaroundJoe to get yourself a 10% discount at Inside Tracker. Also, this show is brought to you by You Got It, Recovr Mattress. So I am a big fan of Sam Smith and Recovr Mattress, and I think that you should be too. If you guys would like to get yourself a discount on Recovr Mattress, you can do so by using the code, you guessed it, AllaroundJoe at checkout, and that will get you 50% off. So I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. Without further ado, here we go, Sam Smith. Sam Smith, how are you today?
Doing fantastic, Joe. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to be on. And let's see, where are you today?
So today I'm calling you from the middle of the country. I'm in the Ozarks, specifically in Joplin, Missouri, right where Arkansas, Kansas, and Oklahoma all come together.
Very cool. I got the privilege of driving through there a few years back, and correct me if I'm wrong, but those Ozarks are pretty amazing, aren't they?
They are beautiful. You get all four seasons here. So during the summer, of course, it's hot. In the fall, you get beautiful foliage. You get snow in the wintertime and beautiful spring. So it's a nice Midwestern part of the country to live in, for sure.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, here on the All Around Joe podcast, we are all about figuring out how to better ourselves, and I think that you have a serious way of helping us do that. So let's help the listeners get to know you a little bit better, and if you wouldn't mind giving us kind of like your elevator pitch of who you are and, you know, what you do.
Sure. My story is, I don't know if it's that unique as far as the American story goes. I grew up in a poor family and had three brothers, and grew up in a tough neighborhood, and for myself, and fought through school, through college, and after college, I ended up getting that job while I was in college, actually, in the furniture. And I found out that I really loved furniture, and doing it for 20 years now. Started in the middle 90s, and during the early part of my furniture career, it was a retail side of the business where I was selling living room furniture, and I love the aspect of design, the fact that you can really express yourself with furniture, from how Dave. So I really love that side of it. And years ago, I had for lack of better, had a tear in my heart that a doctor just dressed himself. I had an epiphany and a life change. So I had an open heart surgery, and that when something like that happens to yourself, you gotta make some changes. And so at that point in my life, I made some serious changes on how I was living, and took a real simple, holistic approach to life, and that was basically exercise, eat right, and sleep. And at that same time, and it's weird how the universe works, I found myself working in specifically the mattress industry. So I worked for a high-end boutique that designed and built our own mattresses. And what I found was when selling mattresses, this was very different than any other type of furniture. Mattresses have a positive or negative effect directly to whoever's using them. And we all use these things. Everybody that will listen to this will relate to the fact that you spend 1/3 of your life on planet Earth in a mattress. And so if I did my job right and I fit those individuals to the right mattress, I would get calls, I'd get letters, and thanking me for the difference that they made in their life. Because when you start getting better sleep, every facet of your life gets better. So, it all kind of came together for me after that heart surgery that really just kind of changed my focus on the world and on my life. And I wanted to help people, and I want people to understand the benefits of sleep and how it ties in directly to our health. Now I work for a company that is called Recovr Mattress, and it is the company that is breaking the mold with the world's first high performance hybrid mattress. It's designed specifically for endurance athletes. So it's something that is new, and that's tough to come by in an mattress industry that's 150 years old. So this is something that is kind of breaking the mold.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so that, we can, well, actually first, how long ago, how many years ago, or how many years have you then been in the furniture or mattress industry? I'm sorry, you cut out there for a second.
This is the third year.
Wow. So quite a while. And explain to me, like, what are the different kinds of mattresses out there? Like, when somebody goes into a store, are there different varieties, or like how you have so much information that it's the same way as like me trying to teach someone how to squat or how to, pick out a piece of, exercise equipment, probably. What are those differences in mattresses?
Well, yeah, that's a really great question. And, really, you can go back to, the history of the bed and kind of follow that forward to where we are today. So originally back, before the Civil War, people were sewing together bags of whatever they could get their hands on, whether it be leaves or hay or hair or whatever. And that's what they slept on. And it was a series of ropes that held these bags up. So if you've ever heard the saying, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite, what they were talking about was those ropes underneath there. You'd have a bed key that would tighten those ropes up to try to keep that bag in a straight line. And that's what sleeping tight meant. Well, Eventually a couple of cowboys around the 1880s watched a buggy going down Main Street, and the springs that held up that seat on that wagon, they said, I have a good idea. And boy, they took those springs and they tied them all together, and they were the first ones to really come up with what we still see used in house today, and that was the Bonnell spring. Where I live is a company called Liggett & Platt, and Liggett & Platt makes the coils for 98% of the bed industry. So everybody in the United States, there's a 98% chance of this. is familiar with the products that Liggett and Platt makes, and that's who that we partner with. So it's kind of a long answer, but there are so many different types of bed from there. The spring evolved, and they made improvements on that original spring design, and then eventually around World War II, they started individually wrapping those springs. And I'm old enough to remember this, but and maybe some of our followers or listeners will be. But there was a really famous commercial where they took a bowling ball and they dropped it on a mattress, and the bowling pins on the other side magically stood up. They were showing you the motion separation, and that was that individually wrapped coil. And when that came out, that was like alien technology. Honestly, it just changed the world in the mattress industry, because now if you had your partner next to you that was tossing and turning, you could get better sleep because you're not being moved by your partner. So fast forward again from there, about 25 years, and a couple of Swedish scientists get together, and they took some information, some technology that NASA was developing for their jump seats. When you send a human being out into space, there's tons of G-force that's on their body. And so what they wanted to do was the jump seats, they wanted to design a material that would absorb that energy and take pressure off the body as it launched and then broke Earth's atmosphere. So these scientists got together, and everybody knows the name Tempur-Pedic, and they were the first ones that came out with that all foam bed. And Jim Carrey has a great scene in the movie Yes Man where he's dancing on the bed with a glass of wine now, and the wine's not moving. And so is the next step, next evolution forward. Today, and what Recovr Mattress is kind of a combination of all of this. It's a hybrid bed. And if you go into a brick and mortar mattress store, you will be shown a hybrid bed. They are wildly popular. They kind of solve all the riddles of all of these different mattress components by putting them all together. Steel coils put pressure on your shoulders and your hip area. This causes you to toss and turn. All foam beds eliminate that, but the all foam beds sleep very warm, and so you sleep hot. So when you combine these two and use the steel for support and use the foam over the top of it, you get really a perfect bed design. And so my advice to everybody, whether it be to how to sell a mattress or how to buy it, it's the same thing. And I keep a KISS approach, the keep it simple, stupid approach. And that's just really three focuses that you want to do when you're picking out a mattress. Really simple. You want to pick a mattress that, number one, is going to keep you in a straight line. It's spine alignment. So if I were to lay, or Joe, you were to lay on the edge of your body, on the side of your body, where your ankles touch would hit you in the center of your belt loop, and that would hit you in the back of the neck, and it'd be a nice straight line. Beds over time, that support starts to fall away and lose support, and pretty soon you've got a big sag in the middle of your bed, and you end up sleeping like you're in a hammock all night. And this is why people wake up tired. They wake up with back pain. You're not getting rest. So spine alignment to me is always number one. Number two is simple. It's feel. Some people like marshmallows. Some people like rocks. Most people are in between those two things. So you want to find a mattress that's comfortable to lay on. Third's the budget you want to be in. So, a good quality mattress, for me, it's a conversation I've had a million times. And for me, people just don't prioritize this enough. Or, people would come in and, what's the cheapest thing you have? And they just, it's an expense that nobody wants to spend money on. So kind of, when shopping for a mattress, that's honestly why brick and mortar is kind of going away. It was voted the single worst thing to shop for in 2015. We finally beat out tires. Tires was always number one. But mattresses became the worst thing to shop for. And it's an awful experience. You walk into a store, it's 38 different white squares. They all look the same. The first one's $100. The last one's $10,000. And they got every point in between. They all look the same. So, how are you supposed to figure this out? So my advice to everybody, though, again, if you just make it simple and just focus on, keeping that spine alignment in a straight line. If you're a bigger person, if you're north of 200 pounds for a guy, And when you lay on the bed and you look like you're laying in a hammock and you got that U shape to your body, you need to find something that has the better, get your body up in that flat line to it. So long narrative there, but it's, that's my advice for shopping for a mattress is spine alignment, feel, and then keep it in the budget you want to be in.
I love it. That is great information. Great information.
Thank you.
Do you feel like the comfort component of the mattress is something that is completely personalized? Or I've done a little bit of research, and there's somebody saying that it takes about 30 days for you to get used to a different style of sleep condition. Do you think that it's that people have these different wants, or that they just need to get more used to a certain firmness of mattress? And do you believe that a firmness or a softness of a mattress is a better way of sleeping for recovery?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And you're spot on as far as your data goes. Average human being, it'll take 30 days to transition from their old sleep surface to their new one. That's whether it's a marshmallow going to something really firm. It'll take 30 days for anyone to transition. As far as feel goes, that is a very personable thing. So not to be gender specific or sexist in any way, shape, or form. There's certainly exceptions to the rule, but majority of men like firmer feels, and the majority of ladies like the softer feels. So my advice to most guys is to punt. And, happy wife, happy life. That's the philosophy of my life. So compromise there as far as feel goes. Medium firm is overall 75% of the population, this is United States, prefer the medium firm feel as far as just overall like length of time that they'll enjoy the mattress and they'll be satisfied with their mattress. So I always tend to advise people as far as, if you're in between a softer or a slightly firmer bed, you'll be happier in the long run going with them. And again, that's all about, keeping you in that alignment is just so important, because if you get into proper spine alignment, the body helps to reset naturally in so many different ways when you sleep. Your body's recovery period is when we're turned off. Our mental capacity, our cognitive skills, our physical, all of that is being regenerated and rebooted while we sleep. That's the whole purpose that we do this. So when you're in a nice straight spine alignment, your body's not eating against those things. Pressure put on your body. Where guys generally get it in the shoulders because we're wider up at the top, whereas ladies get it in the hip area, just the way we're built differently. But, getting pressure in those 2 point areas will cause us to toss and turn. Well, if you're tossing and turning, you can't be in REM cycle. You don't stay in that REM cycle for longer periods of time with less movement. So, again, feel-wise, it really depends on the individual, on what they like. But most people, and 90% of them will fall into a medium feel, whether that be medium soft or medium firm. You'll have your extremes, the people that the bed cannot be firm enough. You'll have some, I call it the teenage girl bed, and the bed just can't be soft enough. And literally, if it's full of Jello, it's still for them. So pretty much.
Very, very interesting. And I'd never made this connection before, but it's also the same as far as spinal alignment for movement patterns, right? So like I'm always preaching to people, if you can have your proper or neutral spinal alignment as you're working through movements such as deadlifts or squats or presses or whatnot, then your body is going to be in its best position to transfer force. And if you can be in that best position to transfer force, you're going to move the most amount of weight for the longest period of time. So it's so interesting that there's that connection, and it makes a lot of sense. And I just hadn't thought about it before. So that's really interesting.
It is. And it goes back to balance and everything else. So for me, like my sport, I'm getting with Recovr Mattress. Recovr Mattress team it's a group of weekend warriors, what I call it. So we've got CrossFitters, we've got marathon runners, and some accomplishments. Ran in Boston, New York. These are my coworkers. I'm a golfer. I'm going to be 45 this year, so I'm a little I'm doing the dad bod thing. But since I've been with Recovr, I've really gotten into the cycling and the mountain biking specifically.
Cool.
But golf is my sport. I love golf, and same exact thing you're talking about with that spine alignment. And again, if U.S. Open's going on right now, and if you watch these guys on TV, these professional golfers, all of them, their spines are in alignment as they're doing. Their body's working around that spine. So the spine is the support for everything. From our heads down. It's our balance, everything else. So when we're sleeping in our resting position, it's insanely important. There's really, honestly, to me, it's number one when you're picking out a mattress is making sure that you have that great spine alignment. If you have that great spine alignment, your body's going to naturally recover quicker, and it's just going to work more efficiently.
Yeah. Have you found or heard of or done any sleep studies where you've seen that once people do adapt to the proper spinal alignment, they're able to, let's say, like fall asleep better, sleep harder, stay asleep longer, those types of things?
Yeah, no, again, great question. So yes, absolutely. There's tons of studies out there that will go back to the quality of sleep versus expo, or the what you're putting out, your expo, or I guess I'm saying it wrong. Sorry, your output. Sorry, that's what I'm
there you go. For. There you go.
Is directly related to how well we sleep at night. So, Joe, are you? You're a younger fellow. So are you married, or do you have children?
No children yet, but practically married.
Fair enough. Okay, so at some point in your life, you may have children, and most of us do. I have he'll be 16 years old in December, and every parent will tell you this, the same thing, that it is the best thing that'll ever happen to you is having children. And there was no difference in my life. However, I do have one child for a very good reason. That first 6 months that you bring that baby home, it's not fun. Matter of fact, so here's a personal sleep study that I did. That's just having a newborn in your house, and everything about me started to break down. Physically, I started breaking down. Mentally, my wife and I were both exhausted and all the time. And because newborns, they average 2 hours of sleep at a time. They don't care if it's in the middle of the night or if you have to be at work at 7 a.m. If they're hungry, they're up and they'll let you know about it. So the first 6 months of any parent, anyone can relate to that, on how exhausted they are. And then how did that affect them? Do they feel like getting up and running in the morning? Do they feel like getting up and hitting the gym? Or was it easier to, I need every ounce of sleep that I can get? I gained weight. My work production, literally you could chart it on a map as far as my sales output was completely dropped off during that 6 month time. And I was just exhausted. I was like burning the candle at every point, definitely both ends. But there are cases where it's Stanford shared, and I'm trying to bring up that information right now, where they actually did with sports teams. I thought I had it here. Okay, I apologize, Joe. Let me get back here. How they tied into sports. So, like with basketballs, players, when they got a consistent 8 hours of sleep, they shot 17% better on free throws. The concentration was better. Same thing with we have people that have switched over to Recovr Mattress, and because of its design, they haven't changed a thing about their routine. These are guys that are running 5Ks, half marathons, or full marathons that are getting their best times of their lives, and the only thing that they've changed about their regiments is the quality of sleep that they're getting. So, and a lot of times it's one thing that's really interesting when you get a quality sleep surface is the amount of time that you spend in bed isn't as long. So, when you get a quality bed, you don't need 10 hours of sleep on it. And a lot of people will go through life And there's a thing called a sleep deficit. You may have heard this. A lot of people heard this. This is a real thing. Your body will make up the difference if it's not getting enough rest. And the most natural way for it to do is to store fat. So if you're not getting enough sleep, the first thing your body's going to do is going to be like, okay, I'm going to need some energy later. So it starts storing fat. So one of the natural things that will happen to you again if you start getting better, healthy sleep is natural weight loss. But the energy boost. So the way I kind of explain it is with these hybrid beds, and I really am a big proponent in hybrid technology. The tests that Liggett does, and nobody does more testing in the planet on sleep technology than Liggett and Platt, is hybrid beds. 6 hours sleep on that would be the equivalent of 8 to 10 hours of sleep on a traditional mattress, like something you'd find at a hotel or motel. Which, depending on the beds you stay at, those are decent beds. That's about the same quality as most people are using in their homes. So, that was one of the things that really sold me on this hybrid technology. There's a burn unit in the Kansas City. They've got a big hospital in Kansas City, Missouri, and it has one of the largest coma wards in the nation. And they switched from a traditional coil bed to a hybrid style of bed that has this gel memory foam over the top of it. The patients in those cases stopped developing bed sores. So there's no pressure points on their body. And at a bed sore, if you're in a coma, 1/8 of a pound of pressure is all it takes. I could take Dwayne Johnson. I'm a huge fan of The Rock. I could take my finger and push it into his chest, and if I applied 1/8 of a pound of pressure over a long enough period of time, eventually The Rock would say, "Ow, you're hurting me." And that's what our beds are doing to us at night. And that's why we toss and we turn. And the average person in an 8-hour sleep cycle, which is what everything's measured by, average person in an 8-hour sleep cycle will toss and turn 40 to 60 times in that 8-hour sleep cycle. You get some pressure in your back, and your body says, "Ouch, you got to move it, roll over, and you're adjusting." You're interrupting your natural brain's chemistry. You're interrupting your limb cycles, and your body's negative cycles gets you when you're not moving. So on these hybrid beds tests, you go from moving 40 to 60 times to 4 to 6 times. So it's amazing. And move 10% compared to what you were. 90% more motion just from the bed that's causing pressure on your body. If you eliminate that, you don't need as much sleep. 6 hours on this bed, and you're going to get the same energy, the sleep results, as you would for 8 to 10 on a traditional mattress. It really is remarkable.
That is phenomenal information there, Sam. I'm sitting here like in awe myself, and I'm a human optimizer and always thinking about how to get better sleep, how to recover better, how to train harder, all of this interesting stuff. So man, my mind's being blown right now. I'm super happy that we've set up this podcast to get you on here, because I'm going to be sharing this information with obviously on the show, but then with every person that I try and optimize outside of this.
Sure.
And let's get into Recovr a little bit more. Like, why did you guys put Recovr together? Like, and what is its mission, direction? How is it different? That type of stuff.
So the Recovr mattress, again, it's kind of where we live. So we're here in Joplin, Missouri, which is basically the headquarters of Liggett & Platt. They're a Fortune 500 company. They sell over, I don't know what their profit statements are. It's $500 billion a year. It's a ridiculously huge company, and this is where they're headquartered. So we got in contact with them, and we basically, there's an opportunity here. Mattresses, are basically designed for everyone. So the fact that a specialty mattress exists, and what we found was, this is a hole. There's an opportunity here, and the technology was there. When hybrids started coming out about 5 years ago, that's really when everything kind of changed. and what the sleep studies pointed to, and you guys can cite any of this. There's 3 different websites I highly encourage your followers to go and check out if you're not having great sleep. The National Sleep Foundation, the Better Sleep Council, or you can visit recovermattress.com, which is our page. We have different links to this stuff. But there are so many different studies, and if you suffer from sleep apnea, if you're a third shift worker, they have different sleep patterns than you or I would. When they're trying to sleep, the sun's up. People are mowing, air conditioners are going. There's so much more noise during the daylight hours as there is at night. So they have answers for all these things at those websites. So this is where, if you're a sleep geek, and I am self-admittedly a sleep geek. I'm a furniture geek. I eat, breathe, and live this stuff. I've been doing it for way too long. But, the idea that Recovr Mattress to design a bed that would, us, with our performance. That's what we were looking for. And again, it's such a simple, holistic approach. It's a triangle of perfect health, and this is what I deeply believe in. And that's if you take care of your body, and you do that, pretty simply. You exercise on a regular basis, get your heart moving, get the blood flowing, keep the weight off, watch your health, be careful what you put in your nutrition. That's the other side of it. And eat healthy. I am, as simple as I heard it in grade school, you are what you eat. And there's so much science coming out that proves this. And the third leg of that triangle is great sleep. The simple fact is, and for being someone here in the Midwest, I can tell you that, we're not always the most health conscious country out there. And it's because those first 2 things, exercise and diet, it's difficult. It takes work. It takes work to get up in the morning and to hit the road. It takes work to get on that bike and push yourself to go another mile. And people just don't want to put in the effort. Nutrition, it takes discipline. And discipline, again, a lot of people just lack it. And it's too easy to whip around a building, and in 2 minutes I can have a hot burger that I can stick down my throat and it tastes great, and it's cheap, and it's easy. So I can get this nation 33% of the way closer to being healthy just by putting them on the right bed. And
wow.
And that's really, and if you do have more energy, and this is my theory, and this is Recovr's idea, is if you are getting better sleep, you're going to get natural weight loss just from sleeping better. Your body's not going to have those cravings. It's not going to be shorting and looking for something to fill that rest area in. That sleep deficit's going to go away. So you're going to have some weight loss that happens naturally. That's going to encourage you to go out there and maybe eat a little healthier, maybe to push yourself a little bit. Roll out of bed and do 20 push-ups in the morning. Just start small and build on it. But if there's one thing that heart surgery taught me, 7 years ago, it's when something happens in your life that's negative, it can define you. Or you can define yourself, and that's really the change that I made in my life, is that you got to live every day. Every day's a gift, and we got to make the most of it. And if you want to continue on this path, on being on Earth and seeing these amazing things that keep happening to us, year after year after year, we got to take care of ourselves. And great sleep ties into that completely. So that's Recovr's mission is, basically it's really simple. It's a better life through sleep, and anyone can have this.
I love it. Couldn't have said it better myself. That was fantastic. What tips do you have around, or other than a mattress? I'm guessing that since you are a sleep geek, you optimize your room, whatever it may be, your nighttime routine. So we've talked about how the mattresses can make a huge difference. I'm assuming that, I've done some research myself, obviously, but I want to hear it from you. Like, what do you think is the optimal sleep environment or routine or setup for people?
All right. I love this question. I do know the answer to this. And my wife and I, we've been together for, I guess it'd be 18 years this year. differ wildly on this first one, but room temperature is important. You nailed it. It's a routine. So whatever you get into, with exercise regimens, having a good routine is always important. Well, sleep's the same way. So I recommend, it's routine and conditions. For me, and I have tons of sleep studies that can back this up, it is pitch black, it is 65-degree room temperature, and it is white noise. So for me, my room is pitch black. We keep the room cool at night, and then I use a box fan for my white noise, and I go to bed at the same time every night. I have an alarm. It goes off about 20 minutes before I'm ready to fall asleep. I go in, do my nightly duties, brush my teeth, comb my hair, all that fun stuff, and then I go to bed. I hit the pillow, and I'm out in about 60 seconds. So proper sleep routine, doing the same thing every single night, it prepares your body and prepares your mind for what's going to happen. And it's a natural way to unwind. Now, some people have a tough time doing this. My wife, she's naturally cold-blooded, so she likes having heat. and her optimal sleep temperature, she thinks, is 80 degrees. It's actually, it'll disrupt your sleep. She also grew up where they had a TV in their room. And so, she fell asleep to the TV. And so, honestly, it was kind of, I didn't know if the relationship was going to make it initially after the first couple of years with each other because of these differences. But, when a TV is in your room, and I don't like a TV in a bedroom for a lot of reasons, intimacy is a big one. You're far less intimate to be in. There's a television in the room.
Yep.
And your eyelids can, close that off and it makes it better, but that light still comes through your eyelids. And when your brain sees light, it says, well, it's daytime and it's time to be awake. It's time to be active and it's time to be moving around. So eliminate the light. Temperature, again, nice, cool temperature. You want to be temperature neutral, ideally, when you sleep. I like a little on the cool side. I run warm naturally. And then again, the noise is a big thing as well. Motion is another one of the big sleep interrupters. So if you can eliminate motion, and again, that kind of goes back to the mattress, but, find a bed, whatever bed you find, if you're sharing it with somebody else. Individually wrapped coils or all foams are going to be your best bets when it comes to motion separation. So some people are more sensitive to heat, and that's what wakes them up. Some people are more sensitive to noise. My father was famously sensitive with noise. There used to be a cartoon a long time ago with Droopy the dog, where he had a bear or something as a friend, and the guy just wanted to take a nap, and every little noise, whether it be a creak on the floor, the guy would just wake up in rage. And I always thought of my dad when I watched that cartoon growing up. So his was noise. And white noise, I'm a big fan of that as well. So when we go on vacation, there's tons of apps. You can just download white noise apps, plug it right into the phone there, and you can listen to a beach sound or a fan or the train. And there's all kinds of different combinations. Rain's a good one. So eliminate noise, motion, keep it cool, keep it dark, and then do that same routine every night, and you're going to find better sleep that way. That'll really help you fall asleep. And it just conditions your body to where, this is the schedule. You get on that schedule, and again, your body will adapt to that.
I love the idea of the alarm to go to sleep. I've never heard that before, but that's fantastic.
Well, that's, and I'd love to take credit for it, but that's actually, it was Jeff Bezos, or it's one of those mega 1% billionaires. Actually, a lot of them do this, where they go to bed early, and these guys are up at 5 a.m. because they're ready to conquer the world. But I kicked that in about 3 years ago. As far as setting that alarm, and again, it's on the weekends I might ignore it and stay up a little later, but for the most part, when it's time to go to bed, I go to bed. I'm boring now. I'm 44, so it's not like I'm out running the clubs or anything like that. So just get up and do yard work with the wife on Saturday. Mostly play a lot of golf. So, but great sleep. It definitely ties back to it.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm a huge advocate as well of getting the great sleep. And I tend to preach that to a lot of people. So you and I are definitely on the same page. How about maybe you mentioned this and I missed it, but when your alarm goes off and you know that you have the 20 minutes before bed, is that when you shut off your device, your cell phone or iPad or whatever? Or is that before, or how do you deal with that?
So for me personally, I read a lot of news blogs and or I do TED Talks, that type of stuff. So I'll actually use a device, like especially audio, where I'll get into bed and I'll throw the earphones on and listen to a TED Talk or whatever,
Yep.
and or an audiobook or whatever, and just kind of helps me unwind. That's mine. For my wife, she watches a show there. Really, you want to try to avoid those. If you can disconnect your brain from technology, is absolutely the best practice, though. So there's good old-fashioned books, and as a nation, we don't read them enough. But if you can bust open a book, again, start reading it. Just the process of reading a book is that back and forth with the eyes as you're moving down the page is a natural way to relax and unwind, and it'll make you sleepy. A lot of people fall asleep reading. So if you can shut off 20 minutes before, and that's really, for me, my 20 minutes, it's basically just, that's when I start my routine to get ready for bed. And that's just, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm taking any medications that I need to take, and I'm getting the room ready to go for sleep. So, and that's how long it takes me to basically from go upstairs, hit the bathroom, and then get in the bed. 20 minutes is what I'll give myself. It's a perfect amount of time. I get in the bed, lights go out at the same time, and like I said, I'm out cold within 60 seconds, 120 seconds tops.
Wow.
I fall asleep instantly. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That's great. So I don't want to take up too much more of your time here today, Sam. We've already got some amazing information from you about mattresses and how to set up your body and your life to sleep better. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you feel like it's important for the listeners to know?
Well, again, I think, it's for me, it's taking a look in that mirror, and that's different for everybody out there. What you want to get out of life. And I guess my big advice or challenge to anybody that would be listening would be, don't just exist. Don't just settle for waking up every day and going to a job that you don't like. Get up and fight for it, and take a jump. You got to take a chance, and you got to get out there and put yourself out there. So that's what we're doing, with Recovr. Recovr is it's the direct shipped hybrid too. That's one thing that we didn't talk about that I would like to touch base with. The fact that this bed is not something that you got to go and throw on the top of the car or try to figure out how to get it back to your house. You order this bed, and it's a 11-inch thick steel coiled hybrid mattress that we will direct ship directly to your house for free anywhere in the United States. We came up with a discount code to followers. So if they, and this is all caps, all around Joe, go to Recovr.com and shop the mattress. The spot you can enter a code. If you do all around Joe, they're going to save 50% off on our product as a thank you for being featured. Now, keep in mind that the biggest discount that we've ever given off of this was during Memorial Day, which is when everybody gives the big discounts, and that was 30%. So we've never given a discount as big as 50% off. We're big fans of the show, and again, it's important, too important, in my opinion, not to get the word out about the importance of sleep and how it affects us. And again, if you're a weekend warrior like everyone here, and you've got that 5K that's coming up, and you want to beat your personal time, or if you want to go further on that trail than you've ever pushed yourself, I promise you, with better sleep, you're going to get better results. It's just the way that we're designed to work. So all around Joe saves you 50%.
Love it, Sam. That's fantastic. And just one last question for you, and this is one that I ask a lot of people, and I know that I failed to send you the questions as early as I usually do, but I'm a big learner and a fan of learning. Do you have any books or podcasts that you recommend?
So, yeah, there's a podcast group called Sleep Geeks that two guys from Liggett and Platt. They're the two Marks do, and they're entertaining. But those two that I shared earlier, the two websites, that National Sleep Foundation is truly amazing. You can type in, once you go to that homepage, specifically whatever sleep ailment that you have, or if you want to put in, if you want to read different sleep studies and how these work, National Sleep Foundation is number one. The Better Sleep Council is also a wonderful source for content on, how sleep ties into every facet that you can imagine, whether it be, your love life or cognitive skills, school, whatever you're working on. There'll be links back to, again, how sleep is going to help you, but also what are the things that interrupt sleep? And these are the things, this is where I learned, the majority of the stuff is just researching through, these are the two big national ones, Better Sleep Council, National Sleep Foundation, I would recommend.
Awesome. I love it. So as we're wrapping up here, how can people find out more about your Recovr Mattress? I know that we already mentioned at Recovr Mattress, but can they, do you have any Instagram, Twitter, any things like that, or any things you'd like to promote?
We're on Facebook, and we are looking, like you said, I'm 44, so to be completely transparent with you, my IT department is my 16-year-old son, and he is teaching me the Instagram and Twitter and all that fun stuff. But right now we are on Facebook, and then of course we have our homepage. So you should have a link that you can share also that'll get everybody to where they need to go, as far as it'll tell you our story about how that we're not a big mattress conglomerate, that we're a group of weekend warriors, these athletes that they got together to do this, which is a fascinating read. You can read about Liggett and Platt, the manufacturer, build them in America. That's another thing that I absolutely love about our company, is the fact that they're made in Tupelo, Mississippi, headquartered out of Joplin, Missouri, Carthage, Missouri, which is a suburb, and then see the mattress as far as exactly how it's built. So.
Awesome. Well, Sam, I've really enjoyed this. It's been a knowledgeable experience for me, and I'm sure those people listening. So I thank you very much for taking the time, and yeah, man, have a great rest of your day.
You too, Joe. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful time. We'll see you.
That was my interview with Sam Smith of Recovr Mattress. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you guys want to get yourself a discount, 50% off of a Recovr mattress, go to RECOVR Mattress. That's recovrmattress.com, and use the code allaroundjoe in all caps. 50% off. I can't even believe it myself. It's a great deal on a mattress. I highly recommend it. And if you want to get to the show notes for this episode, go to allaroundjoe.com/144. That's allaroundjoe.com/144 if you want to get any of those links that Sam mentioned, or you want to throw a comment down or a question into the comment or question section of the podcast. Remember, 50% off with the code allaroundjoe. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you would like to help us out by giving us a review on iTunes, which I would really appreciate, you can go to allaroundjoe.com/iTunes. Every 5-star review that we get helps us to get our podcast out into the community a little bit further so that we can help more people. That is our goal. Please give us a review if you get a chance, allaroundjoe.com/iTunes. And also, if you enjoyed this podcast, I'd love it if you shared it with your friends on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever that may be. I would truly appreciate that and would be happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. So I appreciate you listening. I hope that you go out and better yourself as much as you possibly can, and let me know if you need any help with that. the All Around Joe podcast, where we optimize your human performance from my personal experience as an athlete, coach, and all-around self-improvement junkie. I will see you on the next podcast.